Today's story centers around a man named Peter, someone who's completely in love with books. He's the kind of person who gets so absorbed in reading that even when he's heading out to do laundry, he starts reading on the way. And in that distraction, someone runs off with his clothes, and he just stands there watching helplessly. His deep attachment to books starts to affect his personal life too. His relationship with his girlfriend turns sour. They argue constantly, and eventually, they decide to part ways. Meanwhile, a girl who works at the bookstore Peter often visits has been noticing him for a while. One day, she compliments his new shirt, but Peter just says, "Thank you," and walks away. It's clear his life has become quite lifeless. He finds no joy or connection in anything around him. One morning, Peter gets a call from Dr. Henry, his favorite college professor, who shares that he's about to retire and invites Peter to his farewell party. This call brings unexpected joy to Peter, as he had always cherished the time spent with Dr. Henry. The next day, Peter hits the road and takes a long drive to his old college campus. The moment he arrives, it's like a wave of happiness washes over him. He spends some quiet time sitting in the garden, soaking in the nostalgic atmosphere, before heading to Dr. Henry's home. There, he's warmly welcomed by Henry and also meets Nick, another professor. Later, everyone heads out to a restaurant, joined by Jessie, Nick's daughter, and a drama student at the same college. At the restaurant, Peter begins to open up like never before. The once reserved man, lost in books, is now laughing, sharing stories, and reminiscing about his college days, especially his admiration for Dr. Henry's classes. Henry jokes about how Peter once cried during graduation because he didn't want to leave college, and everyone shares a laugh. Jessie too joins the conversation, full of energy and charm. Peter finds her company delightful, but she's a student, and he's 36. He quickly reminds himself not to think further in that direction. Still, while heading back, they talk a little more, and she shares stories from her drama classes before returning to campus. Meanwhile, Peter returns to Dr. Henry's home to enjoy the retirement party that evening. That evening, during his retirement party, Dr. Henry stands up to deliver a speech. His voice quivers with emotion as he begins talking about the students who meant the most to him over the years, how they had become more than just learners. They were like family. Then he walks over to Peter and thanks him personally for traveling all that distance just to be there. Before he can say much more, Dr. Henry quietly excuses himself, saying he needs a moment alone. Peter, feeling a wave of emotion, heads back to the college campus where he finds a sense of peace wandering through the familiar grounds. While walking, he runs into a quirky and cheerful man named Nat. Though they've never met, Nat talks to Peter as if they're old friends. He says, "I don't like sad people. Come with me." And just like that, he takes Peter to a nearby cafe where, coincidentally, Jessie is hanging out with some friends. She smiles and tells her friends he's also a graduate from the same college. When they ask Peter about his batch, he replies, "Mid-90s," prompting laughter from one of them who jokes, "We weren't even born then." Peter feels a little awkward, but accepts the age gap, saying with a smile, "Yeah, I guess I'm old." Before the moment can get uncomfortable, Jessie lightens it up by saying, "Who said you're old?" She playfully loosens his tie and tells him, "Look, now you look young." Amused by the moment, Nat suggests they all meet for coffee the next day. Peter hesitates, saying it's not really his thing, but Nat cheekily punches him in the stomach and playfully forces a yes out of him. Just then, Jessie is called away by a guy, but before leaving, she turns to Peter and says, "Tomorrow, 11 a.m., don't forget." After she leaves, Nat tells Peter he'd be foolish not to notice Jessie likes him. Peter brushes it off, thinking it's just nonsense, and walks away. But that night, he can't stop thinking. So, the next morning, he shows up at the cafe. Jessie isn't there yet, but he finds a guy sleeping with a novel beside him. Peter gently comments, "Good choice. I've probably read this one a dozen times." The guy, noticing Peter's age, jokes about it, making Peter feel out of place, so he decides to leave. As he's walking away, the guy catches up and casually introduces himself as Pete. Moments later, Jessie shows up and explains that the guy had suffered a mental breakdown the previous year and is still recovering. The two of them sit and talk, and to Peter's surprise, their interests are strikingly similar: music, literature, art, books. For the first time in a long while, Peter feels seen. It's as if all the things that once mattered to him are coming alive again through this unexpected connection. As they walked into the auditorium where the drama classes usually took place, Peter couldn't help but ask her, was the boy they met at the cafe her boyfriend? Jessie quickly denied it with a soft laugh, saying they were just friends. Strangely, Peter felt a bit of relief. They hugged briefly before heading back. The meeting wasn't long, but it was enough to make them feel that fate would find a way to bring them together again someday. For now, Peter had to leave. Just then, Professor Henry informed him that Jessie wanted to meet him once before he left. Peter went to the library, where Jessie was waiting. She handed him a small present. It was her numbered step from the musical stage, a meaningful memento. Smiling, she said, "Don't forget me when you get there, and try to write to me. I love reading letters. I hope we can keep talking like this." After saying that, she walked away. Peter, carrying her gift and his emotions, left the campus. Outside, he ran into the same cafe boy again. Peter offered him a ride, and during the drive, they talked. The boy shared that his mother was a nurse and wanted him to become a doctor, but he struggled with the coursework. He confessed he preferred reading and had even written a novel, though his mother didn't understand. Peter felt sympathy for him, but couldn't do much. He quietly returned to New York. Back in the city, Peter noticed something had changed inside him. The place no longer felt like a cold, concrete jungle. Instead of books in hand, he now wore headphones, letting the music fill him as he smiled at the world around him. Letters continued to pass between him and Jessie, filled with conversations about music, books, and life. But at times, Jessie opened up emotionally. She wrote about how Peter had made her feel alive, how he helped her see things differently. One day, she wrote, "Dear Peter, I miss you more than I expected. Since we started talking, or maybe since I met you, I feel something I've never felt before. I think I'm falling in love with you. If you're free, can we meet?" Reading that, Peter was stunned. It wasn't that he didn't feel the same, but the age gap hit him hard. By morning, Peter was back on campus. Seeing Jessie again, he embraced her, and she held him tightly. In her room, Peter hesitated, and Jessie gently acknowledged their age difference. But then she whispered, "Does it really matter? We love each other. Isn't that enough?" She kissed his forehead softly, just as her roommate walked in, surprised to see Peter again. Later, as Jessie took Peter to the college canteen, he ran into the same quiet boy again, sitting alone with a thick book. Peter sat beside him and asked how he was doing. The boy still seemed lost in his thoughts. Peter scribbled his number on the book's last page and said, "If you ever feel like talking, just call me." Afterward, Peter had taken Jessie to a quiet restaurant, hoping to enjoy a peaceful moment. But his attention shifted when he spotted Professor Henry at a distance, trying to avoid eye contact and quietly leaving. Curious and slightly concerned, Peter followed him. Back at Henry's place, they talked. The professor didn't need explanations. With a calm voice, he shared a truth Peter wasn't ready to face. Everyone fears growing old. Youth may feel like power, but aging is inevitable, for men and women alike. Henry wasn't judging him. Instead, he wanted Peter to reflect deeply. Though he never directly mentioned Jessie, Peter understood exactly what he meant. Later that night, Peter wandered through the college garden, lost in thought. Was he making the right choices? That's when he once again ran into Nat, the quirky man. Nat saw right through him and said with conviction, "If your heart is telling you to go to her, don't hold back. She's waiting. Live in the moment." His words struck a chord, and Peter, perhaps looking for just such validation, decided to see Jessie. Her roommate wasn't around, and Jessie confessed. This would be her first intimate experience. Peter quietly stepped away to the washroom, overwhelmed. Jessie wasn't just another girl. She genuinely cared. Returning, Peter gently explained the age gap between them and why what they were about to do might not be right. Jessie pushed back emotionally, saying she didn't care about the difference, and asked why he kept making it sound like a crime. Peter, heart heavy, told her that sometimes knowing it's wrong before doing it hurts more. Jessie, heartbroken, asked if he didn't like her anymore. Why then had he come at all? He said it was because he cared too much, but her heart couldn't take it. This was her first love, and her first heartbreak. Angry and crushed, She asked him to leave immediately. Peter, silently accepting it, returned to New York. Months later, he wrote Jessie a heartfelt letter, apologizing for the pain he caused. He said he never meant to hurt her, and since then, he'd been trying to rebuild his life, spending time with people closer to his own age. Eventually, Peter visited Anna, the thoughtful girl from the library. For the first time, they truly spoke. She revealed how, for years, she drowned herself in books about life, but somehow forgot to live her own. That day, she had stopped hiding behind pages. Curious and cautious, Peter asked her age, to avoid any more confusion. She smiled and said they were the same age, and no, she wasn't married. From that point on, we see Peter spending more time with Anna, enjoying life without any guilt or regret. He had found someone who truly matched his pace, someone he could laugh with, walk beside, and just be himself. One evening, as he was at home, he received a distressing call from a boy, someone who Peter had once gave his number. Through tears, the boy confessed he had taken a handful of sleeping pills. Peter told him to stay awake, dialed for an ambulance, and rushed over himself. When the boy finally regained consciousness, he found Peter right there beside him. Surprised, he asked why Peter had come all that way for someone he barely knew. Peter simply said, "Anyone who truly loves books has a place in my heart." Later, Peter visits Jessie. She welcomes him warmly, having let go of the past, and tells him that the decision he made back then was the right one. She says, "Sometimes, the choices that hurt the most make the most sense later. It's like when we're young, and we think our parents are wrong. But as we grow, we realize they were only trying to guide us." She admits that she was trying to fast forward through life, skipping the hard parts. But life doesn't work like that. There's a process, and we all have to go through it. Her words bring tears to both of their eyes. Peter gently says those letters they used to write, those were golden moments of his life. He never wants to lose them. So, if she's okay with it, maybe they could stay in touch as friends, writing letters again. Jessie agrees. And just like that, the letters begin once more. In one of them, Peter shares that he and Anna got married, and he's truly happy now. In the final scene, Peter and Anna are laughing together, talking about growing old side by side. She dreams of a small house by a lake 30 years from now, where they'll sit and talk for hours. Peter simply takes a deep breath and smiles. And with that, the beautiful story comes to its end. Sometimes, the hardest decisions are the ones that lead to the most peace. Not all stories need perfect endings. Some just need closure, understanding, and the right people to walk into your life at the right time. So friends, what do you think? Can a deep connection between two people truly transcend age, time, and distance? And do we sometimes need to lose something to truly understand its value? Take a moment to reflect, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you felt even a tiny spark of emotion in today's story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories your way. And yes, hit that bell icon so you never miss a moment of magic. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, sometimes, even the briefest chapters leave the deepest marks.